Good evening, everyone. Mazal tov for moving into this apartment. We are 1 month into the new year. Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan. They call it Mar Cheshvan. Mar in Hebrew means bitter. Why it's bitter? Why Cheshvan is bitter? One reason only. Why? There's no holidays in it. No holidays, it's bitter. Today, we have a problem in the Jewish world that there's so many thousands of singles, guys and girls, that don't get married. So they say the opposite. That months that they have holidays is bitter for them. Because they hate to be alone. They want to be with a family. Some of them divorced. Some of them never got married. So when a holiday comes, they feel lonely. As long as they work and they see people, they don't feel it. So today, for some people, it's the other way around. But Mar Cheshvan, in general, there's no holidays. It's a little bit depressing. After a month, with one holiday after the other, all of a sudden, a month with nothing in it. Now, as you know, there was a very big incident in Israel. On Chol HaMoed of Sukkot, there was one kid, 15 years old, that died for 15 minutes. Even though after 6 minutes you're supposed to be brain damage. But he was dead for 15 minutes and came back to life. And he started to describe for more than an hour and a half what happened to his soul, what he saw, which people he saw there in the upper worlds. And that, when you listen to what he said, nothing is new. It's all written in the prophets. It's written in a Gemara. It's written everywhere in Judaism, in Kabbalah. The news in his speech is that we are now started officially, according to him, the war of Gog and Magog, which is the final war. It started, according to him, 3 days before Rosh Hashanah. Later, you know how religious people, as soon as they hear such a thing, they want to go and check if there's anything in the world that happened that day. What happened that day? Russia entered Syria. So maybe that's what he meant, that the war officially started. Because sometimes only in the end of the process you actually know when it started. You not always see the process. Only in the end of it you realize, when it started back then. That was the first shot. So according to him, in a few months everything will be over. The final horrible war and what's going to happen. For the thousands of Jews who ask me, what should we do? Should we move to Israel? Should we stay in America? Just now, a minute ago, someone from LA asked me, should I stay in LA? Should I move to Israel? So the answer is, everyone stay where he's supposed to be. If you're in America and you're close to Hashem, and your kids have good yeshivot, and everything is working for you, you stay where you are. If Mashiach come, it will come in Jerusalem, in Yerushalayim. When he will be in Yerushalayim, he won't have any problems bringing you into Israel. Don't worry, because one of the most important things the Mashiach will do is mekabetz kibbutz galuyot, nitchei Israel. He's going to gather all the Jews to Israel. And this kid, obviously, is not a yeshiva boy, doesn't have yeshiva background. And even if he was in yeshiva, no one in yeshiva by age 15 knows about Gog and Magog and Mashiach and Gehenom and Gan Eden Tachton, Gan Eden Elyon. They don't teach little kids these things. So he said that they ask him, doesn't matter where you live. He said, doesn't matter where you live. It matters if you're tzaddik or rasha. You can be tzaddik in America, you can be tzaddik in Israel, you can be rasha in America, you can be rasha in Israel. So therefore, the location is not so substantial. What's really count is who we are. What we have to do to get saved? Torah ugmilut chasadim. We have to learn a lot of Torah. We have to teach Torah. We have to support Torah. That's all fall into one thing. And the second thing, gmilut chasadim. Gmilut chasadim, every Jew can do. Smart, stupid, rich, poor, male, female, young, old, everyone can do gmilut chasadim. There's so many millions of ways to do chesed to people, help the neighbor, lend them things, giving them cake for Shabbos, going to funeral, helping a widow, supporting a depressed person, speaking to a depressed person on the phone, cheering him up. That's all Gmilut Chasadim. Give your old clothes to poor families. Sometimes it's even very easy and cheap. For instance, a barber. How a barber can do Gmilut Chasadim? He works all day, cut hair, all day like this on his feet. He works very hard. When you see Bachur Yeshiva comes, poor Bachur Yeshiva, he goes in Yeshiva and learn Torah. He doesn't have maybe $10, $15 to pay for the haircut. He said to him, don't worry, you come once a month, I'll cut your hair, you don't have to pay. That's here you go. Right away, yes, Torah and Gmilut Chasadim. What? How much is going to be? 10, 50, $100, the whole month. That's called Gmilut Chasadim. It can be many things. Someone that knows how to read in the Torah, he can teach poor kids that they cannot afford for their bar mitzvah. Here you go, Gmilut Chasadim. Tomche Shabbos. You let them use your van, you volunteer, you bring boxes to family. That can be Gmilut Chasadim. Gmilut Chasadim, like I said, everyone can do. Nobody can claim, no, I cannot do it. Even if an old person, he cannot carry boxes, he can lend them his car. Or he can donate money for the food. And there's many other ways. We should know one thing. We should know one thing. Many people in the world right now, they're busy with collecting money. More and more and more. It's never end. No matter how much they have, they still want more, and they have another deal, and right away, and invest, and as soon as they get a check, they don't wait a minute until they run into invest it right away. Maybe they lose a day interest. The greed for the money blinds the people from what happened around them. Most of the time, many of the problems that we have in our life come because of the greed for the money. The greed for the money. What do you mean the greed for the money? When a person is so greedy and is so busy at work with his business and the greed to become richer and richer, right? Once a person is so busy with something like that, he doesn't see what's happening around him. He doesn't see the spiritual state of his wife. He doesn't see his children, how they go off the derech. He doesn't see all kinds of drug habits and all kinds of problems and who knows what, mental issues. He doesn't see what's around. Or he does see, but he ignores because he's very busy right now with his career. If it's by the man like that, by the woman, it's even 10 times worse. When a woman is a career woman, it defeats her purpose in life. Maybe she makes a lot of money, but she cannot be a mother. And even if she comes to be a mother, she comes home 4 or 5. It's not the same. She's already have a long day, and her mind is in a business, or she has a store, and sometimes she comes home at 8 at night. The greed and the love for the money and success, what they call in America success, has a very heavy price. I remember one time I went to a nice, very nice, beautiful home. And one of the kids, Jewish kid, one of the kids spoke to me and he had Jamaican accent. Jewish boy with a yarmulke. I said, how can it be? He speaks to me in Jamaican accent. Then I asked someone, why the kid speaks like this? He said, well, this is the woman over there, she's the maid, she raised him. He doesn't see his mother. So he got her accent. She speaks to him in Jamaican accent, she's the baby, he became Jamaican. You understand? The career sometimes have a heavy price. You know, they say in America, time is money. What does the Torah say? Money, it's time. But the greed, the running after money, it's time, it's life. Life, a person can lose everything. So busy. And by the way, you should know one thing. Do you know how many people I met in my life that made it? They put many, many years in their business and in career and in college and learning and becoming successful and saving dollar by dollar. And then they came and invested in one bad real estate deal or one stock market bad deal or made off or anything like that, and everything got wiped out. You have no idea how many emails like this I get every month. 20 years of my saving I invested in here, the money stuck, we didn't know about this, we didn't know about that. Not only you lost your children, not only sometimes you lost your marriage, not only you gave up so many wonderful things you can have had in your life because of the greed, in the end you're left with nothing. Bankruptcy, foreclosure, they took away the home, then he gets divorced, then he's 50, 60 years old, lonely somewhere, cannot even pay the rent, has to call one of his kids to maybe help him out. The big veer, lost from all direction. In Israel they have a say for it, נשאר קרח משני הצדדים. He became bald from both sides, not only one side. What's the difference? Bald, you bald, what difference? Meaning he cannot borrow from one side to the other side because there's nothing to borrow. Okay, so let's move on. There was just introduction about the situation because many people are asking about it. As you all know now, in Israel the situation is a war, 100% war zone. Today the government announced that they have to put soldiers on the streets, in bus stations, in places, in crowded area. So you're going to start seeing soldiers. In Europe, every time I go there, you see soldiers everywhere. In Italy, soldiers I saw in Holland, in Amsterdam. I saw soldiers by every Jewish area. The soldiers with their uniforms, with machine guns, standing over there, protecting the place. In Belgium I was, same thing, soldiers on the streets. So basically in France, everywhere, you have, everywhere you go, you have soldiers everywhere. Who would believe in your own country you need soldiers to allow you to walk in the street? Where does it say it in the Torah? Parashat Bechukotai. Parashat Bechukotai said that we will get to days like this, that we'll be scared to walk on the street. The enemy is around us, inside us, would rise and we sink down. You become crazy from what your eyes see. One trouble after the other. Before you digest the first one, the second one comes right away. So the idea is like this. Everybody wants to know how we get out of that situation. How do we get out of that situation? If the situation will go another month or two like that, guess what happened in Israel? What would happen? Besides the fact there will be a lot more casualties, the economy will collapse completely. Right now they're canceling flights, a lot of people canceling. Tourism went down 90%. All the stores in Jerusalem are all empty. People afraid to get on buses. When the bus runs all day, there's thousands of people paying fare. 18% of it goes to the government right away. And then plus from that, they have to pay another 40% to the government. It's millions of dollars every day. All the buses all over, they're all empty now. Everyone is afraid to get on a bus. People are afraid to get into crowded area. Businesses are dying. In Israel, it can be very, very fast. 1, 2 months, boom, the government can lose control. That's one thing. Tomorrow, unfortunately, there is a message now, alert. The Arabs are preparing mega terror tomorrow, all over, in every city. That's inside information, came from their mosques. That's what they're doing. In case you thought that the Arabs that lives in Israel and they have Israeli passport and they are Israeli citizens and they go to Israeli universities and the government gives them money and the government allow them to be lawyers and doctors and judges and you sit in a hospital and this Arab has to take care of your life. In case you thought that you can rely on those kind of Arabs in Israel, they already showed you in the last week, there's basically no difference. They did riots inside Israel, inside Jaffa, inside places where they born. They speak with Israeli accent, and they act as terrorists. They act as terrorists. Now, so we have right now 2 million inside the country. 5 million Jews, 5 and change, maybe close to 6, but many of them are not really Jewish. 6 million people, 2 million Arabs inside Israel. But from the 6 million, approximately 800,000 are not Jewish also. So maybe about 5 million Jews. Take off women, take out children. How many men you have? 2 million people. The 2 million people have to protect us from 1.5 billion fanatic radicals that scream. You had to see what video I got yesterday. They don't even have fear. Stand in front of the camera. We must slaughter every Jew. Everybody must slaughter. That's how they talk. In front of the whole world, media, they're not afraid. Inside the mosque of Israel. Not like in Europe, they speak with hints. They push for terrorism, but not in front of camera. But in Israel, openly. And he holds a knife in the middle of the speech, and he demonstrates. Every Jew sees stick it in his heart like this, screams like an animal. This is what's happening now. The words of the Gemara are so clear today. The Gemara says we'll get to a situation that we get, אין לנו על מי לסמוך אלא על אבינו שבשמיים. Hashem will bring us on our knees, that every Jew in the world would realize now there's no one to rely on, not government, not army, not police, not nothing whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever. And Bezrat Hashem, once these people will realize it and they begin to scream to Hashem, maybe the situation will change. The good news is, with all the difficult situation of the last 10 days, many of the Jews, as results of it, making tshuva. They're waking up. They realize time is running out, especially after this boy came and he told what's going on and what is about to happen. Many of the people are making tshuva. Yesterday, one person wrote a comment. He said, don't say that anything bad will happen. Nothing will happen. The salvation is not a punishment. The salvation is not to fear from. The salvation is something that we anxious to get, and it will come very nice and smooth. What do you think about that? Illusion? Real? What do you think about that? The answer, total imagination. Because how did we come out of Egypt? We came out of Egypt, right? How many came out of Egypt? 3 million plus. How many died? More than 12 million. 80% died. Only 20% came out, right? The Holocaust. The Jews that survived the Holocaust, I cannot tell you how many. 50,000, 100,000, I really don't know the numbers. But it was a small number. How many died? Millions died. How many made it? How many had a salvation? 50,000, 100, 200? I don't know. Whatever the number is, it definitely was nothing compared to the amount of casualties. Every one of the salvations we had in history had a very heavy price. Don't let people fool you. Not in the name of this Rebbe and not in the name of that Rebbe. It's all illusions. Reality, history shows when the Jews had salvation, it was very costful. Plus, can we move 1 inch away from the words of the prophet? Who are we? Who am I? Who are they? To come and redesign the Tanakh. The Tanakh say, when Mashiach come, Gog uMagog, Acharit Hayamim, will be a disaster in the world. Why promising people fairy tales? I don't get it. The people that do it, they have this symptom. There's a symptom today in the world. Everyone is afraid of the word fear. People, as soon as something associates with fear, they panic. They don't want fear. And I ask, I don't get this hypocrisy. Fear, it's the most important factor of the life of the human being from the moment he's born until the moment he dies. There's not one day of your life without fear. You're afraid of what to eat, what not to eat. You're afraid when you do business with people. You're afraid when you join the army. You're afraid when you walk in dangerous neighborhoods. You're afraid of all kinds of sicknesses that your friends got. You're afraid to get it also. You're afraid when it comes to taxes and IRS and interviews and job interviews. You're afraid when it comes to raise children. You're afraid when you have to give the delivery to a baby. You have to give birth. You're afraid in so many millions of different kinds of fears. All the fears that we have in the world are legal. People accept it. There's only one fear almost nobody agreed to accept. What is it? Religious fear. When it comes to fear from religion, from punishment, from what would happen, for what would happen to me if I won't be Shomer Shabbos. As soon as somebody speaks about some of the things that the Torah speaks about, it's not the way, don't scare us, it's too much. Why are you making us panic? It makes me very nervous. I don't get it. Before a surgery, a person is nervous. Why is not complaining? Why he doesn't complain? He should complain. We started a new cycle of the Torah, Parashat Bereshit. The creation of Adam and Chava. Right away, before the world even started, right away a murder. Cain murder Hevel. Why? Jealousy. Adam and Chava, right away make a sin. What's the cause of it? Jealousy. Everything jealousy. Nachash, the snake, was jealous with Adam. Chava, after she ate from the tree, it's all jealousy. Everything is jealousy. Kina, it says when a person has jealousy, when he dies, his bones become rotten. Rekev atzamot kina. Very rarely they bury righteous Jews. Very rarely. And after many years they come, they open the grave to move them to Israel or something like that, they find them complete. Sometimes they bury people, not even 2 days later, they, by any chance they have to open the grave or to move, it was a mistake or something like that, the body is gone already. It's eaten, snakes, worms. It's very interesting. They took one Moroccan rabbi from Morocco, they brought him to Israel, Rabbi Ochayon. His son and his grandson went to Morocco, they got permit, they brought him to Israel. How many years he was buried in Morocco? 60 years. 60 years. After 60 years, they opened his grave, they took him out like he went to sleep yesterday. Complete. Now one hole in his body. Now one hole. They say, make a new funeral now. The Rabbi Mizrachi, I believe, he said, get all the people to come and see the miracle. Even the people in the yeshivot, to close the Gemarot, and everybody should come and see the words of the Torah. Yetzadik, not kanai, even the worms cannot touch you. The worms, what they know, the worms can tell the difference between flesh here and the flesh of a jealous person. One time, there was a woman, 90 years old, not religious. Not religious. She died. They buried her in Russia. And after many, many years, her family wanted to bring her to Israel. So when they went to get her, she also was complete. So they asked, wow, your mother is a very righteous woman. So what righteous? She was communist. She didn't keep anything. So they say, cannot be. Wow. So they went to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. So Rabbi, we just found a case, there's no explanation for it. So Rav Chaim Kanievsky said, go and check, investigate. They went and investigated, they found out that she had an accident when she was a girl. She was in a coma all her life. In coma. When a person is in coma, he cannot be jealous. Maybe she was 70 or she was 90, I don't remember the fact. But she couldn't jealous. Why? She was in coma all her life. One time there was a funeral in Israel, non-religious woman. Few people came to the funeral. And then they saw thousands of birds all came and landed on her grave and around it. They asked, what's going on here? They asked the boy, why all the birds came here? He said, all her life, my mother used to make sure to feed the birds every day. That was her hobby. Take all the breads, things, all the time thinking about the birds. The birds came to pay her respect. Even the animals, sometimes showing us how to behave. The Gemara say, in Masechet Eruvin, the Gemara say, אלמלא ניתנה תורה, היינו למדים דרך ארץ מהחתול ומהתרנגול. If we would not accept the Torah, we would have to learn how to behave from the cat and from the rooster. What can you learn from the cat? When he goes to the bathroom, covers very good. Some people in Manhattan never heard it. You know? In the middle of the street, they do what they do, and they leave it there. And they don't care that people see. Again, maybe you can say they're under influence of alcohol and drugs. They don't really think. And what can you learn from the rooster? He's a real macho man. What does it mean? When he comes to his female and she's not in a mood for him, he doesn't force himself on her. He goes around, maybe sing her serenade, I don't know. He goes around for about 20, 30 minutes. Then when she gets in a mood, they get together. Mamash, how to behave. You learn a little bit from everyone. What do you learn from a horse?
A horse? To run, that's it.
Horse is brave. When he goes to the war, he runs into the fire. What do you learn from a dog? He's willing to die for his owner. He jumps into the fire to save him. There was a case 2,000 years ago, the Chachamim wrote it down, that there was a dog guarding a place, and the Goyim put poison in the milk of the Jews. And the Jews came to drink the milk, and the dog was barking. They don't understand what is he want. He wants milk. When he saw that they're not getting the point, he jumped into it and drank the milk and died. Died to save his owner. That's why his name is Kelev. What Kelev in Hebrew means? Kulo lev. Is 100% heart. What else do you learn from animals? A lot of things you learn from animals. What do you learn from?
A lot of times the dog attacks their owner too.
The owner?
It goes the other way, yeah.
Well, it can be, I give you an example. A wife is very good and faithful to her husband, but sometimes she also attacks him. If he went over the line,
Right.
It happens. Doesn't mean she's not faithful. Now, I want to ask you a question. Why Hashem created Chava from the rib of Adam? Why he couldn't make her just like he made Adam? Go like that, and there is Chava. Why he needs to put Adam to sleep, make a surgery, gives him anesthesia, $3,000 for the shot, and then take a DNA and do it and duplicate from him and make a female? Why? What was it? It was a lot easier to make. Now he saw Adam is alone, no problem. By tomorrow morning when you wake up, you will already have a companion. Why it was necessary to first put Adam to sleep and take a piece from his body? The Gemara says, Rabban Gamliel, the Kesar, the Roman Caesar, he came to him and he said, your God is a thief. Thief? He said, God forbid, why you say such thing? He said, listen, when he took Adam, he put him to sleep, he took the rib, and from that he made Chava, no? Did he ask him permission? He took an organ from his body without permission. That's stealing. What would happen now, someone would do such thing, it's stealing. By the way, you should know that the world has a market for stealing organs. All over the world, not only in China, in Russia, in other countries, in Israel. What does it mean, stealing organs? A person has problems, they have an operation, let's say. They open up his stomach, while he's anesthesia, they steal a kidney. He went to a surgery, The doctor steals the kidney, puts it in a refrigerator, small one. They hide it somewhere in a hospital. By the end of the day, they take it, they sell it. 150,000 a kidney. Different organs they steal from the body. Sometimes they steal bones. Bones, but not from living people, from dead bodies. After a person died, when they do autopsy, they steal bones and things, and they put instead pieces of wood connected with screws. And then they sew it. That's what they do. So in Judaism, is not allowed to do an autopsy. Why? Kvod Hamet. So sometimes you need to know if the person was murdered or not. His honor is to find out if he was murdered. That's what if you can bring him back to life, and you ask him, excuse me, what do you want? You want us to cut you open, that we can check what's inside? Maybe someone choked you, or this, we can only find it in autopsy. Or you want to just get buried, and it doesn't matter. 99% of the dead people would say, cut me open. Anyway, I don't feel anything. Check exactly what's happening, that you can find my murderer. No, they want revenge. So that's the Kvod Hamet. What's Kvod Hamet? Kvod Hamet, what the Met wants, is honor. So the answer is, what do they do today? MRI. They do after they take the body in Israel for religious people, if they suspect, they compromise. Their family doesn't want, the police insist. They do an MRI, they take a picture, they see inside if this, what's happened. From the MRI, they come to conclusion. Top. Baruch Hashem that we have this option today. There's a question in Halacha that a crocodile swallow a Jew on Shabbat. It happened once. Imagine in Florida, you come, you say, let me go to the mikveh now. Shabbos morning. 7 o'clock, no one is there, he takes off his clothes, goes into one of those lakes over there, one crocodile comes, swallow him in one shot. It can happen every day. So now the question is, they ask, are they allowed to kill the crocodile on Shabbat right away, that they can take the body out of his stomach to bury? Because if they wait until Motzei Shabbat, there will be nothing left. It will grind even his bones. It's a question. You're allowed to kill animals on Shabbat? No. When you're allowed to kill animals on Shabbat?
You're in danger.
Only when you're in life danger. Not only danger, life danger. Right? Life danger. If you have a cat, you're also in danger, but you're not allowed to kill it. Right? So animals that can kill, such as snake, bear, lion, things like this, they come near you, you're not gonna, if you can run, you have to run. But if there's no way to run, they're closing on you, and you have a gun. Now they made a ruling in Israel, even on Shabbat, you have to walk with your gun, because of the situation. You don't know, you're on your way to the shul, who knows what can happen. So the answer is, can they do it? What's the question? Is it justify the honor of the dead, because you want to give him a funeral that he will have a grave? Does it justify to violate Shabbat? Or you wait until Motzei Shabbat, the body is dissolved, there's no grave. What do you think the answer is? The answer, not allowed. Just show you how important is Shabbat is. So what do? You get a goy. Hey Chris, do me a favor, shoot this crocodile, cut him open, take the body out, Motzei Shabbos will take care of you. Don't worry, buddy. You'll be taken care of. Chris, get to work. What happens if you don't have Chris? You don't have. You're not allowed to break Shabbat. I once gave an example to a person, he made him Shomer Shabbat instantly. How can you take a Jew that is not Shomer Shabbat and make him Shomer Shabbat in a minute? I told him, if you own a house, $500 million, huge, beautiful mansion, all handmade, all kinds of Picasso picture, antique Persian rugs, stacks of cash inside, hidden, and the Shabbos candle fell on the rug, and it's starting to burn the mansion, and there's no life risk. You can run out. You and your wife can run out. There's no little children. Everyone, adults, they can all run out. I say, are you allowed to put the fire to save the $500 million?
You're going to say no.
The answer in halakha, what I say doesn't matter what I say. What the law says. The law of Shabbat is you're not allowed to save property. Even $1 trillion. Not allowed. So 500 or $1 billion will be burned in front of your eyes. Why? Because now you cannot put the fire off.
Call a goy.
Oh, so what does the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat say? Even to call a goy, you're not allowed. But you have to hint to the goy. How do you hint to a goy? You stand by the burning house and you scream, everyone that will put the fire off will not lose when Shabbat will be over. That's it. Meaning, if the goy is smart, he runs to do it. If not, that's it. Too bad luck. What can you do? You have a stupid neighbor. He didn't get the point. But if he got the point, he puts the fire off. Then I ask him, what happened if this Jew scream, Rabbi, allow me to put the fire off? Here, I'm signing my whole house to your yeshiva. You have 1,000 kids learning Torah, take his donation. If I'm losing it, I might as well lose it for Torah, not to the garbage. Take my house, here, 2 witnesses. I'm giving you my house free. Allow me to put the fire off. Chabad, all this Picasso picture, it's a work of art, there's only one in the world, lots of excuses. Allowed to put the fire off? Not allowed. Finish.
So how are you allowed to call the goy to kill the alligator and get the body out?
Oh, so now to kill the alligator, goy is allowed on Shabbat or no?
Yeah.
Allowed. To say to a goy to do something for you, what kind of a sin is that? It's from the Torah or it's a rabbinical restriction?
Probably you're going to say rabbinical restriction.
Before Chazal came into the picture. Put Chazal, wait a minute, on a side. Before the time of Chazal. If a Jew wanted to tell Muhammad to do things for him, Muhammad, come make me coffee, please. Muhammad is his servant.
Right.
So he needs to boil water.
Correct.
It was allowed or not allowed? No. Allowed. From the Torah, it's allowed.
Why?
No problem.
It says on the Kiddush that not even your animals and your servants are allowed to work on Shabbat.
Right. I didn't say your slave. That's a different story. Your slave, you're right, is your property. Muhammad, the neighbor. Hey, Mustafa, come here. I'm in a mood for coffee. Make us coffee. Muhammad, the neighbor. You're allowed to tell him on Shabbat to eat for you, to turn things for you, to move the car. Allowed from the Torah. The Chachamim made a decree, you're not allowed to tell the goy. By the way, my opinion is, from all the decrees the Chachamim made, this is the smartest decree and the most crucial one. Why? They made all kinds of decrees. You're not allowed to prepare medicine on Shabbat, all kinds of things. Maybe it will lead you to... They made a lot of decrees. This is by far, in my opinion, after reviewing the list, the most crucial and the most clever decree. Why? Who knows why?
To our benefit.
No, because they're going to put them to work and they're going to earn money. Like, it's going to get easy for them.
If they did not make that decree, not one Jew in the world today would keep Shabbat. Well, I'll tell you why. If you have a goy that you can tell him to do things for you, so you hire him, he comes on Shabbat, you give him $200, and you give him instruction. Bring the car, open the door, start the car, take me to see the business, what's going on. Open the business, sit by the register, customer comes, Abdallah, come here, Muhammad, come here, take care of him, ring him up, yes, cut it, tailor it, do it, business as usual. How long you think it would last? No. What happened one time Muhammad would be in the bathroom,
right,
or he didn't show up? $10,000 sale now. After 3 months, maybe a year, everyone will break Shabbat. What reserved the holiness of Shabbat was this decree. Don't play games. Hashem wants you at home with your family, with the book open, with good food. That's what Hashem wants. He doesn't want you to take the goy, do this for me, do that for me, come work in my house, break the wall, paint. That's not for Shabbat. So if a person even wants to donate everything, still not allowed. What happened if they caught a Mechalel Shabbat, a Jew that is breaking Shabbat? 2 witnesses gave him a warning,
Right.
and the next Shabbat they caught him again. Caught him again for the same exact thing. He was giving water for the plants, let's say. They warned him once. Next Shabbat they caught him doing the exact same thing. They caught him. Now what do they have to do? They report him to the Beit Din. They bring him to trial. If they found him guilty, what do? Execution by stoning. What happened if this guy is the richest guy in the world? The Jewish Bill Gates. He has 70 billion, 80 billion dollars. As they take him now on the way to stoning, he said to the rabbi, before you kill me, I have an offer for you. How about you let me go? Put me in jail, put me in an island, throw me out of the country, take away my passport, do whatever you want. But I'm willing to give you all my 70 billion or 80 billion to the yeshivot, to the orphans, to the widows, to make Baalei Tshuva, to help people that cannot afford yeshiva. You know how much you can do with 70 billion? All you have to do is just invest it and make 10% interest on the money. They will pay all the yeshivot. They will send all the kids to yeshivot. No Jews will be in public school. You can make seminars for Shlom Bayit. Everything on me. Take it away. Leave me with $10,000. Throw me to Puerto Rico.
Not bad.
What is the point of killing me? Let me go. It's a great offer, no?
Great offer.
What's the law?
No good.
Not allowed. Why not?
Because he had the warnings, two witnesses.
Still.
He broke Shabbat.
No question that he's a criminal. But why not to take 70 billion and put them in Cuba? What did the Cubans do? They wanted to get rid of all the criminals. They say, what, we're going to feed them here in jail? They send them to Miami.
Right.
You understand what they did?
Of course.
So what do I care? As long as it's not in my society, this criminal, what, I'm sitting and enjoying sitting him in jail, that I have to feed him? Get out of the country and goodbye. It's very clever when you think about it.
Correct.
But America takes them in. Anyway.
America takes them in because Obama is a genius. That's the different reasons, you know. And Bichlal, over here, it's a liberal society. Half of the Americans are liberals, just like in Israel, just like in Europe. This liberalism destroys us like cancer from inside. Because I said, democracy, fine, no problem. There's positive things in democracy. But the ones who invented democracy never intended that the minority that declared that they want to murder the majority and torture them and kill them and make their life a horror, that now because there is the laws that you have to take to consideration the minority that says in your face that they want to butcher you, okay, in the name of democracy we have to give them, their rights. There's no rights for murderers, there's no rights for traitors. It doesn't matter whether they're minority, whether they're majority. They actually twisted the really good intention of democracy. Democracy was never intended to protect murderers. It was intended to protect the weak, the minority, the poor, the people that don't have power, that otherwise the people that control the country will put them all to die. They will not have rights. That's very nice. The Torah did it before democracy. The Torah said protect the widows, have justice, protect the orphans. When the poor and the rich comes to you to court, you cannot take the side of the rich. You're not allowed to accept donation from the rich after the trial. The judge. The judge is a yeshiva. The judge is a yeshiva. He judged them fairly. When the trial finished, a month later, the rich send him donation. You're a very honest judge. I heard you have a yeshiva and you struggle. Here is a $10,000 check. Here is a $10,000 check. Do you understand what I'm saying here or no?
Yes.
So is he allowed to accept the check or no? Before the trial, obviously, it's bribe.
Correct.
But a month later, the trial is over.
Correct.
He judged fairly. The rich, after the case was forgotten, heard that he has a yeshiva and needs money. He said, you know what, it's a fair, honest judge, tzaddik, I want to give him donation, he deserves it. And he sends donation. What's the problem? Not allowed.
Why?
Why not allowed?
People might think that it was a deal that he made from
In case in the future he comes across.
So say a year later.
He may
A year
come
later.
In the future again.
Yeah, maybe he's going to judge him again later on.
Obviously he cannot. After he took the donation, then he won't be able to judge him again. So that's no problem. I'm asking now, he won't judge him. Why he cannot take donation a month later? Because if you allow it, every judge that will have a poor and a rich right now, he has in mind, I better take the side of the rich because there's a chance one day he will send me donation because it's allowed. You understand? So the Torah is all about everything. It's a divine book. Hashem covered every problem that we may have in our society in the Torah. One person asked me, I'll show you a defect in the Torah. I say, what do you mean? He say, if a rapist raped a woman, what does he have to do? He has, if she agree, he has to marry her and cannot let her go.
Right.
So he asked me, does it look normal to you that a person would rape a woman and now after he destroyed her life, she will become his wife? Yes, very good question, no?
Yes.
Very good question, right? Every fool already knows this question. It's not that it's a genius question. No, what's the answer? But before you give me your answer, he actually made another smart comment. What was his smart comment? He said, so now an ugly person, ugly, disgusting, no skills, no talent, no nothing, that saw the most beautiful, righteous woman, beautiful, righteous, great family, he wants to marry her, she doesn't want to even look at him. He comes, force her, and I say, see, now you're going to be my wife, whether you like it or not.
So he's not that stupid.
She could say no.
Huh?
She could say no.
She could say no, but say that how can it be such thing? The answer is, the world is different than today. If the Torah was given today, maybe this law would not be in the Torah. But when the Torah was given, the status in the world was that if a woman is not a virgin, she's a done deal. That's it. Nobody will ever date her bichlal. Once they hear a Jew, non-Jew, doesn't matter, even non-Jewish woman, if they heard she was already with a man before her marriage, nobody would want to even consider to date her once. It's finished. She will never get married. So now you still may have to say, wait a minute, okay, fine. So she stayed single for the rest of her life. But now to marry a rapist is worse. The answer is not necessarily. Why? Because if he comes to her after the fact, a month, she's relaxed a little bit now, he sent her a letter with someone. Forgive me, I'm so sorry, I made tshuva, I regret what I did, I couldn't control myself, it's because I love you, I really want you to be my wife, I'll make you a queen, all my life I'll make it up to you, I'll have a lot of money, I'll buy you jewelry, I'll buy you a house, I'll bring you servants, I'll get you a nice horse. There was no Mercedes back then. I'll get you a nice horse and a carriage, and I'll do this for you, and I'll do that, and I signed that I'll never marry another woman because he used to marry more than one woman. So she's thinking now, she's sitting in front of the letter. She said, what's my options? To die like this, no children, no nothing, nobody wants to even look at me after the case. Or to forgive him. After all, we all make sins, right? Maybe she was violating Shabbat once in her life, which is just as big as crime.
We don't know that.
We know that for sure.
How do we know that?
To violate Shabbat is a bigger crime than a murder.
No, he's saying, how do you know that she violated this girl?
I said maybe.
Oh.
I said clearly maybe. Maybe she violated Shabbat.
Right.
Maybe she stole once or twice. Maybe she speaks Lashon Hara all day on the phone like some ladies
So
do.
this was a punishment for her, you saying?
Everything bad that happens to a person is a punishment. Everything bad is a punishment. However, the punishment, you will never know most likely what is it for. You don't know. Maybe it's the Lashon Hara of yesterday. Maybe it's for being stingy. Maybe it's for not waking up early enough in the morning. Maybe it's for thinking bad about innocent people. Maybe it's because you don't keep Shabbat 100%. Maybe you don't pray good enough. Maybe from now until next year. There's many maybes. Why Hashem made it so unclear? Why, when a person gets the punch, it doesn't come with a price tag?
Because everyone has a free will.
Huh?
Everyone has a free will. If we know exactly what we're going to do wrong and we're going to get hit, then we have a free will.
No, but you have a very good point. Your point is only right if for everything bad that we do, we'll get punished. I didn't say that.
No, I didn't.
I said when we finally do get punished, we made 1,000 sins, and now we got one punishment. One Arab tried to kill him on the street, made him a scratch in his face. He's not as handsome as he was. Problem for the rest of his life now. But he's not dead. He's back in business the next day. So he's thinking now, which one of the 1,000 crimes that I made got me this punishment, right? He doesn't know. Hashem doesn't tell him. If he would come, you know why it came to you? Because 10 years ago you attacked this person, insulted him in front of everyone, you messed up his life. That's midah keneged midah. You attacked, you got attacked. So now he goes and he fixed the damage, right? So why Hashem didn't tell us? We will never know what we get punished for. We only guess. We can have good guesses because we follow what the Torah say. The rule is very simple. Midah keneged midah, measure for measure. You get insulted, check yourself. Who do you insult? You got someone stole from you, check. Who do you steal from? You lose money, there's a list of things that cause people to lose money. But you don't know 100%. You can know 40%. You can assume. It's all assumptions. Nobody can put his life holding a Sefer Torah and swear in the name of Hashem. You know why it happened to me? Because of that. Or because of this. No. You can only guess. Oh, you know why Hashem does it to me? I had an opportunity to marry this righteous girl. I didn't want. Because of that, I cannot find a girl. That's very logical. Midah keneged midah. You put her to suffer. Now you suffer in the same category. But can you swear that that's the reason? Maybe it's from previous life. Maybe Bichlal he gets punished for how he used to treat his wife from previous life, Bichlal. It's nothing to do with this shidduch. There's no way to know. Why Hashem did it like this? Chazak u'baruch. That's actually the mercy of Hashem. Somebody asks you, where is the mercy of God? So many suffering, so many tragedies, so many people suffer. There's so much worse in the world than good. Some drugs, thousands of kids are dying from it. So many divorce cases, poverty, government, every corner in Ocean Parkway, camera. You can't move anymore. Every step you do, people sitting somewhere and watching you in your own bedroom. There's no more privacy. What kind of a world is this? Mamash became horrible. So you ask yourself, where is the mercy of Hashem? Look, now with the Arabs and ISIS and who knows what's next. It only get worse. You cannot deny it. So the question is, where is the mercy of Hashem? The answer, the mercy of Hashem is right there. When a person gets one punishment, but he doesn't know for what. Instead of getting 1,000 punishments, he gets one, and he begins to guess. Maybe this sin, let's fix it. Maybe that one, let's fix it. Maybe this one, let's fix it. So he can fix with one punishment 1,000 sins. Maybe it's the Lashon Hara. I better cut on it. That's it, no more. Maybe I don't go to Minyan. That's it. From tomorrow morning, I'm going to be the first one in shul. Maybe this, maybe that. Maybe it's because I owe money to this poor man and I don't pay him. Who knows how much he's cursing me, this guy. Hey, Moshe, how much I owe you? Don't worry, tomorrow morning. He goes and he pays him. Why? Because of the punishment that he got. Oh, Hashem is punishing me. In the end, when he comes to Shamayim, he would laugh. He said, wow, it wasn't that, and it wasn't this, and it wasn't that. I thought it's this, I thought it's that. רבות מחשבות בלב איש, ועצת השם ייתקעו. In the end, you בכלל see that it's something you didn't even think about. It could be, but it helped you to make tshuva. That's the mercy of Hashem. Because in a court here in America or in any other country, do you think they have mercy on you? If you have 10 counts, you get punished for each count. You don't get punished for one and they will teach you a lesson for the other 9. No. You come, even if you already prove you fixed, you still get punished for the past. You know what just happened in Israel? I'll tell you a story. We have to finish, so I'll tell you a story. One person, which happened to like my lectures very much, he listens to me a lot. He went to yeshiva, one of the best yeshivot in Israel for Baalei Tshuva. It's called Netivot Olam in Bnei Brak. Very good yeshiva, solid. Lots of intelligent pilots, F-16, Phantoms, a lot of important officers in the army, doctors, all kinds of people, intelligent. They go to this yeshiva. So one person was by me in Sukkot. He's originally from Israel, but he comes a lot to America. He was here by me in Sukkot. So he told me, you want to hear a story? He said, you know, the first time I went to the yeshiva, I gave out a lot of your CDs, Baruch Hashem, a lot of people listening. There's one guy over there, all day listens to you. He said, this guy used to be one of the biggest criminals in Israel. The right-hand man of one of the biggest gangsters. Listen to this. After he left the crime, he had a lot of problems. He was in jail, he came out, whatever. He's decided to leave it. He went to yeshiva. Now he's in yeshiva. He gives out your CDs. He's became a mash tzaddik. He has a shidduch. And he's in his 40s, this guy. In his 40s, not married. They gave him a shidduch, and it worked out. 2 weeks before the marriage, perfect shidduch. They caught one murderer in Israel after 15 years that he was walking free. From his investigation, it linked to many other murders and all kinds of other cases in the criminal world. They came to the yeshiva, arrested this tzaddik, and put him in jail. 2 weeks before his wedding.
Wow.
So they put him in jail. Investigation, this, now you have one miracle after the other. They couldn't find anything substantial against him. They released him shortly before the wedding. It made the connect. Technically, his wife didn't even know who he used to be. Future wife. She didn't know. 15 years ago, he was a gangster. She's a tzaddik now for a few years in yeshiva. So not only she did not leave him, it made their connection much better even. So strong, she was supporting him, going to... And in the end, they got married. And Baruch Hashem, he got saved. Amazing. Now when I went to Rav Kook in Tiberia, it's a very big tzaddik chacham in... so his wife and him saying, you know what? You should pray for this person. I said, who is this person? He said, one of the biggest supporter of our yeshiva. After many, many years, the police remember now, he used to have a record. They just came and arrested him. In the meantime, he's a big tzaddik, he's in yeshiva, learning, supporting, helping everyone. In that case, I don't know how it finished, because then I went to Israel. I don't know if they released him or not. I don't really know. But sometimes, even after he do tshuva, 15 years later, they already know you're a rabbi now. They still come for you. What do you think? Anyone would let you go? Only Hashem can take a murderer and let him get away with that, if he really did tshuva. No other country, they'll leave you for murder. Even if they see you became an angel. In America, if someone used to be a robber or drug dealer or a murderer or a rapist, who know what, and then he left the crime and became a priest, and he takes care of poor Christian kids, orphans, he's raising them, he's cooking food for them, he's giving the, and then after 20 years they found out he murdered someone. What happened? In the middle of Sunday they arrest him if they have to. Only by Hashem, what happened, if the tshuva is real. The problem with us is,
Even these Nazis, they come after them till now. Like, even though they're in their 80s, they be going to the Nazi war crimes.
right, they tried some of them in their 90s, you're right. You're right. I say, better they let them get away with that.
Why?
Why? Because the punishment in this world take away a lot from the punishment in the next world, which is 1,000,000 times worse. Better they let them get away with that. Mengele, Shmengele, all these monsters. Better they get away with that, live 50, 60 years hiding somewhere, and then they come in front of Hashem and He's going to take care of them. Much better than the court in Argentina, or other places. That's people look at that the other way around. Victims of the Holocaust, they want to see justice.
Right.
They want to see revenge.
In their lifetime.
But if you really think about the fact, why people want revenge? All people. Somebody did something bad to you, you don't rest until they find the criminal and put him in jail or give him a penalty, or you see that he suffers. That's when you only relax. Sometimes there's a family, somebody murdered their child. Right. 10 years later, they found the murderer. They say, now we are relieved. What does it change their situation? They still don't have the kid. They're still alone. Closure. They found a word. How does it change their situation?
Nothing.
It makes you richer? No. It makes you happier? No.
Well,
It makes you...
You can kill somebody else in the future. If they
Then, believe me, that's the last thing they worry about.
I'm just saying, if he killed one, he can kill...
What, you really think that they're happy because maybe he's going to kill another person?
It's because of their own...
They care about their own agony. Where does it come from?
You can say selfishness.
Revenge comes from lack of faith in Hashem. No emunah in Hashem.
I want to take care.
Someone that has a very strong emunah in Hashem, the opposite. He doesn't want the murderer to get caught. He doesn't want his enemy to be punished here. Hopefully he will get away with that when he comes to Hashem, He's going to give it to him 100 times worse or 1,000,000 times worse. That's based on what the Torah says. The punishment over here, by the way, you should know, if a person judge himself here, it prevents a lot of judgments over there in the next world. For instance, if a person went to jail here 2 or 3 years, he deserves a lot worse than that. What's 2 or 3 years? But because, according to this world, that's the punishment that is accepted, it saves him from much bigger suffering when he dies. Because there's not the same there's nothing to compare the punishments over here to the punishments in Olam Haba. So therefore you can see that sometimes how much people trying to get away with payments and penalty and jail and all kinds of things like this, when in reality if they only knew what it's going to save them from, they would run to turn themselves in. You should know suffering is the greatest gift that a person should get. I'll give you an example. I saw in one of the books an amazing story where one person came to a Chacham, I think it was maybe the Orach Chaim, one of the big Chachamim, and was waiting to speak to the rabbi that he should pray for his problems because he suffers so much. Maybe it was the Chafetz Chaim. So he said to him, I'm starting a speech now. I can talk to you after my lecture. He said, okay, Rabbi. So he said in a speech, he has no choice. He has to wait for the rabbi. But in the middle of the speech, he fell asleep. And then while he was falling asleep, he had a dream. And they showed him now that he had a trial, and they show all his sins. And there is a cruel angel screaming all his sins. It's such a horrible, disaster and shame and embarrassment. And then one angel came and he said to them, wait a minute, wait. He put something on a scale, and the scale that was always to the negative side went to the positive side. So they say, what did you just do? He said, this is his suffering package, all his suffering that he has in his life. And he turned everything to a positive side, and they found him not guilty. So when he woke up, the rabbi said, okay, you want to talk to me now?
No.
He said, no, the problem is solved. Why? If I tell you now to pray for me that the suffering will go away, what would happen to the scale up there?
Right.
Understand the idea? But he was clever enough to see a minute before I'm talking to the rabbi, I'm falling asleep and I see my trial.
Maybe the rabbi made it.
It's from Hashem. From Hashem.
That's all from everything from Hashem. By the way, you should know one thing. If a person doesn't want to suffer, he should bring suffering on himself. But suffering that he likes. I'll give you an example. If you learn Torah, there's a lot of pleasure in it, but also suffering. Hot, sometimes humid, noise around, you have to get up early, you have other things in your mind today, but you cannot let go because you have to sit and learn every day. So by sacrificing from what you wanted to do and what you have to do, that kind of suffering, Hashem takes it and replaces their suffering that you're supposed to get with that. So therefore, in Rosh Hashanah, when they decide how much suffering to give to a person, they decide by weight. 600 kilo of suffering, 500 kilo of suffering. But which kind of suffering, they don't choose yet. If a person gets up early, goes to davenet, 5 o'clock is already up, 6 o'clock is in the shul already after mikveh, it's not so comfortable, and then moving the car and parking and all these things, and you can pray home quickly with the air conditioned, 1, 2, 3, 20 minutes, easy. But drive to shul, find parking, until the minyan starts. Sometimes it's too fast, sometimes it's too slow, So this kind of suffering, Hashem replaced them with the chas v'shalom sicknesses and all kinds of others. What about money losses? When a person's supposed to lose money, if he gives a lot of money for tzedakah, automatically it cancels the losses that he's supposed to get. So at least something good came out of it. That's what we all do. When we lose it to the cruel goyim, they send you a penalty. You didn't pay enough taxes that year. We just found something. Send another $7,000. More than you eat your heart, not you have to lose now X amount of money. Sometimes you eat your heart more than who the money goes to all the bums on the street that sit and play all day and do nothing. So I'm killing myself working so hard, now they want another X amount of money, or on a highway when you drove, okay, but what can you do that they make a load 50 when you're supposed to be 80, 25, whatever. They make bad laws to catch people, to get money out of them. So you eat your heart not for the money loss. Sometimes you would rather rip the money like this than to give it to them, to these robbers. So when a person does give it to Allah, to tzedakah, what he was supposed to lose, he doesn't even know. One day he come to Shamayim, so you see, over 30 or 40 years, you gave $1 million for tzedakot. $500,000 of that, you would lose anyway. It was already on the agenda, on the process. Another year, another 2 months, there was already on a process to take it away from you. This, lawsuits, problem, that, losing a bag, missing a flight, the dollar collapsed, the stock went up. You were supposed to lose it anyway. Now, because you gave tzedakah before, not only you got away with the punishment, the tzedakah will count as reward. And where do we see it in the Gemara? Rabbi Yochanan had 2 nephews. They came to him. He had a dream about them. He said to them, I want you to give 683 coins of gold or silver. Give it to tzedakah to my yeshiva. And they knew their uncle never asked for money. Never. It's a big tzaddik. How all of a sudden he's calling us and he wants us to give this, and this strange amount, 600, is probably something important. Mm-hmm. They told him, okay, we'll give it. Then when he gave it to them, a few days later, the Romans came, soldiers. Hello? We have a warrant. What's the warrant? You have to pay 700 coins of gold penalty to the Caesar. They came right away to their tzaddik uncle. He said, don't worry. When they come again, give them 17 coins of gold. Say to the soldier, this is for you. Take care of us. And everything will be dismissed. And they came back again, they gave them 17. This is for you, please make it go away. It wasn't like today, everything computerized, this. Right away, okay, no problem, they took it away. So they came back to him and said, how did you know? So he said, I saw in my dream that you're going to lose 700. So he said, but how did you know we have to give 17? He said, because I told you to give 683 for tzedakah, and I knew that that's going to make my dream, this 17, because that this is a decree that you have to lose it. So they say to him, so why didn't you make us give all the 700 for tzedakah? He said, I wanted to see if the dream will come true or not. If you would give, then the soldier would never come in first place. At least now I saw that this is exactly how it worked. This is how he received from Har Sinai. I got to run. I have another lecture in 2 minutes. Thank you very much.